Today I'm in Bic National Park. I did the 6-hour drive yesterday, arrived here just around sunset, but kind of geared up to start taking pictures today. Today's kind of like my first day here. I'm here kind of with no plan. I just grabbed my stuff yesterday, did the drive, and came here this morning. And currently I'm just kind of exploring alongside the coast here, and just like minutes on the trail. Something piqued my interest, this rock formation just behind me, and all these textures on the sea floor that's kind of like at low tide. Got some nice ripples in the sand, and there's a lot of seaweed, rocks, and kind of trees and stuff, but not trees like pieces of wood. But I'm finding it interesting, so I took one picture already. I'll show you that picture right now. Just kind of walking around with my camera, set up like kind of low here, just to kind of see if there's any other compositions I'd like to take here. I don't have a plan on this trip as to what to photograph. I'm looking to photograph wildlife, I'm looking to photograph landscape, and I have no set time or plan. I'm just kind of winging it. Today I'm just getting a feel for it, just going out taking pictures, whatever piques my interest. And I have a loaner A1II from Sony. I figured I'm curious to try it for wildlife, so definitely like I will have some days where I'm shooting with that setup, and I'll talk more about it. But just today I was kind of looking out for any wildlife and stumbled upon this scene, so I had to take a picture. I tried to make sunrise this morning, but I feel like when I haven't got up for sunrise in a while, the first time out on a trip, your body has to adapt to a new schedule of getting up early for sunrise and shooting sunset. So I think I'm gonna try to make sunrise tomorrow for sure. And yeah, I'm sure it would have been really nice at sunrise, but it was probably misty as well, but overcast, so there was no direct light. But I do quite like the mood of like a misty coastal scene, quite nice. I set up quick for a shot here. I quite like these rock formations and the shoreline, and they kind of frame up the scene really nicely, and you get these pools of water on the seabed floor, and quite a lot of different islands and texture, so many layers with the mist. I do want to try out the A1II with my 400 2.8. I think it's kind of like the ultimate setup for wildlife photography, at least in my opinion. And this is a camera. If I were to buy a second body for my kit, it would probably be the A1II, because then I can have it set up on my 400, and I can use that primarily for wildlife, and I can use a 7R4 with my 16 to 35, primarily for landscape. Yeah, but you know, gotta save up for the A1II. It's not a cheap camera. But curious to try it out for a few days before I have to send it back. I set up here a vertical composition, as you can see, and yeah, I quite like the composition. There's a lot of grass in the foreground here that I'm including, but it plays off really nicely the orange against the blues of the water. And I only have a polarizer on right now. Just gonna take one more shot here. What I'm doing is I'm doing like a 1.3 seconds at f11 exposure with the polarizer. I think might be enough to smooth out the bit of a choppy water from the wind. But if I realize I want to do a bit of a long exposure, I might put a 3-stop magnetic and defilter with the Nisi ones. Quite like this shot, and I don't think I needed to do a longer than 1 second. It's getting the effect that I want. I'm happy with that. Just gonna take one more for safety. Should be good. And yeah, kind of looking around, not seeing any. Oh, I see the heron is back. Okay, after I finish taking this shot, I'm gonna get the A1II with the 400 2.8 and try to see if anything happens with this heron. I do want to catch a shot of it in flight. I have about maybe 15-20 minutes of maybe okay light before it gets too dark. But I see him, he's just walking along the shore there. He's probably too small to see, but he is there. So I'm gonna set up and try to take some wildlife shots. Now I have the A1II set up with all the settings that I like, and what I like about the Sony A1II compared to the setup I have that I'm taking wildlife with my Sony A7R4 is that I have all my settings dialed in. I really like the option to switch from the photo to video to slow motion video quickly, and you can dial your settings in. So when if on a whim you're taking pictures of wildlife and you want to switch to video, you can switch right away. Your settings are already dialed in. You can film a video. If you want to do slow motion like 120 with a export at 24 frames, you can already have your settings dialed in. I find that workflow is so much easier to switch between photo and video and slow motion. So I quite like that feature that I don't currently have with this camera. The other one I like is the advanced autofocus with tracking the animal for continuous autofocus. It's more advanced than the A7R4. And I do love having to be able to shoot 30 frames per second. So right now I see the heron. He's just stalking on the marshes here. When the tide retreats, it reveals more of these like oranges, which is very nice, colorful against the gray of the herons. It's quite nice actually. Even the shots I shot earlier, they were pretty nice because it was a nice play of colors, but it was a bit far for me to get a decent shot. And he was just doing the same thing he's doing now, just kind of walking around on the shoreline when it's low tide, probably just feeding or stalking. It's gonna stay put here in this one spot, observe it. You can always try tomorrow again at sunrise and sunset tomorrow, because I have a full day here tomorrow, so hopefully I can get the picture that I have in mind. I can say the tracking is pretty good, and one thing I have like silent shooting with this camera, and with the 30 frames per second when you're taking pictures, you don't notice how many pictures you're taking and you realize you took quite a few. Not much happening, and the mist is rolling back in. It's quite beautiful scenery though, but not much action happening. And my worst fear, as always, is that the minute I turn around and pack up and head back to the car, this is when the action happens. Doesn't quite look like it's happening this evening. Conditions are really nice, and I still have like maybe a little bit of good light. I mean, it looks brighter on the video than it is in reality. And yeah, the heron is kind of slowly moving around, but nothing really like spectacular, I guess, to kind of share, or anything worthwhile to kind of truly test out the capabilities of this camera with this combination that I have. So I can't really quite judge on how I feel about this camera and if I do enjoy using it. But from what I could tell, it performs really well. I just think like in the best conditions, and it should perform, really, really well and give you some great shots. And I wish I had some shots to share with you guys, but unfortunately the reality of this, a lot of times nothing happens. And I remember the last time I was shooting here too with my setup, and I missed the moment the heron flew because I wasn't paying attention. So it could take a quick second that the heron will fly, if I'm not, 100% focusing on it, I might miss it. So a lot of the times nobody talks about the shots that you do miss. With landscape, it's a little less rushed. You can set up on a tripod, take your time. With wildlife, a lot of it is you miss a lot of the shots probably, especially if you're practicing it more and more. And sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. And probably requires as much patience, if not more, compared to a landscape photography. So I'm gonna leave you with that, and hopefully that in the next video from this trip I'll have some better results to share with you guys. But not all is lost. I still had a fun time being out in nature. Even when you think like you're not gonna get the shot, it's always good to hang around a little bit more, because I was just kind of tracking the heron with my camera, be ready at my eye level with my hand on the trigger, and it leapt off the floor and flew across right in front of me, and I was able to pan with it and get a couple of series of shots. Only issue there, the ISO was like 8,000, so very noisy, a bit of low light images like at the last bit, but have that happen earlier when the light was really, really nice, I think I would have had a really nice shot. But you know what, it's just all practice, it's all part of doing it. And you know what, this gives me hope that maybe tomorrow if I come back here I could get the shot. But now at least I got some practice shots with a bird in flight, and I'd have to scan through them maybe after some editing, maybe using some denoise. I can salvage one good shot. But if I do get a shot, I'll put it up on the screen right now. So yeah, I'm glad at least I got one landscape shot and one maybe one wildlife shot. Yeah, happy with that. All right, time to go for my I'm kind of sleeping in my car to be able to be near the park, so I have a nice pull up that's maybe about a 5-kilometer drive from the park. It's by a river, and there's a place I can get a fire going. It's getting a bit chilly at night now, so yeah, probably enjoy the evening, get a fire going, hang out a little bit, and then get an early night's sleep in order to make sunrise tomorrow.